I've been finishing my degree, teaching English, starting this channel, and working on a housing renovation. And even just moving to a new place has zapped a lot of my energy. Xin chào các bạn, mình là Brooklyn Day. Hi everyone, my name's Brooklyn. The past few weeks have been pretty busy, so I haven't been as focused on posting. We had some damages from the typhoon, and I've been working on school and work, and I've had a few family things come up. But I want to share some of the things that I've been thinking on and my plans for the future. Transitioning to a new culture can take years. There's initial periods of culture shock, which I talked about some in one of my first videos here on this channel. I had lived abroad once before, so in these first 6 months, I've kind of known how to push through. But now I'm not really experiencing culture shock, but I do need to move through this next phase. I've realized I need goals for myself, things to help myself keep pushing forward. Living in a foreign country can feel defeating at times. However, I've found that making and achieving small goals can help bring a healthy sense of pride and confidence. Here's a few of my goals. Communication is a basic life skill that is the key to just about everything. In moving here, I knew that learning Vietnamese would have to be a huge priority if I wanted to live here a long time and actually like it. But in these 6 months, there have been various things that have got in the way of me starting my language learning journey. I've been finishing my degree, teaching English, starting this channel, and working on a housing renovation. And even just moving to a new place has zapped a lot of my energy. It just wasn't the best time to start something new. But not knowing any Vietnamese has been incredibly frustrating and has brought a lot of roadblocks for me. Thankfully, my life has been a bit more free now, and so this week I will finally start lessons. My husband Vũ has found a tutor for me, and a couple days ago, we went to meet her for the first time at Hanoi University. We sat at the coffee shop on campus and talked about my goals for learning. Together, we came up with a plan for the next year. Of course, learning Vietnamese or English or any language is a lifelong journey. So it will take time for me to be able to fully communicate in Vietnamese. But I am looking forward to the process. And I am so ready to begin engaging with the world around me in a new way. There are so many things I like about living in the city, but the main thing I've been missing from America is the green landscape. Being around big buildings and lots of concrete has been draining for me because it is different than what I'm used to back home in America. A few months ago, we took a trip right outside of Hanoi, and I think it's time for that again. Back where I'm from, it's currently autumn. The weather is the perfect temperature to be outside. It's going to be harvest season soon, and the leaves are going to change colors very soon. Now, I won't experience the color change here in Hanoi, but I can take a trip to be in nature. So Wait, actually, when are we going to actually plan that trip? Can we do that soon? Okay, good. Anywhere you live, you have to find things in common with other people so that you can truly feel a part of the community. I know that here in Hanoi, there's thousands of different groups spanning all kinds of different activities, from cooking to painting to dancing to sports. There's something here for everyone. But I haven't pushed myself to find a group quite yet. I need to do that though. Personally, even though I'm not particularly talented at it, I like arts and crafts. I play the piano, and in the past, I've enjoyed some social dancing. Maybe I'll start by looking up some Facebook groups and see what I find. If you know of any groups or places where I can find things like this, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. These 3 things of finding a social group, of learning Vietnamese, and getting out of the city are really not that revolutionary. But because I'm consciously making them my goals, I can look back and feel proud of myself, knowing that I'm taking the next step forward. And maybe you have something new and overwhelming in your life. It might be helpful for you to also set a few goals so you can track your progress and see how far you've come. Okay, thank you guys for listening. That's all for today. Goodbye for now, and I'll see you in the next one.